Hey artists, today I'm talking to those older artists who are merging, or in my case, re-emerging. I mean, the whole reason why I'm doing this clear space work is because I literally had to stop. I had to stop my art for at least 12 years. I was working as a professional artist before that, but I was also having kids and looking after my mother who was dying. And a lot of things got in the way, and eventually I became a single mum, and I had to go and do other things for a while as I'd lost my entire support network. That's okay, sometimes we have to do that. And I remember one of the greatest things I was told, and it was back in the day where you could still load your artwork up in the car. We all had station wagons or vans, drive them into the city. For me, that was Melbourne, and go to some great galleries on a Sunday afternoon when it was quiet. And you'd have a cup of tea or a coffee with them, drag your artwork out, get some feedback, and then go. It was great fun. I miss those days, actually. You know, I was only out of it for 12 years, and in that 12 years, it's just completely changed, and not for the better. So anyway, I went into one top gallery in a very artistic suburb of Melbourne, and I was showing her my work. And she said to me, "How old are you?" And I was in my early 30s. And she said, "Come back to me when you're 40. Technically, I love your work, but there's no story. It's just, I was reacting to the world around me. And that's boring. I was just reacting to the world around me, my emotions, my thought processes, what I believed was right, what I believed was wrong. I was turning stories into, it was just aggressive, to be honest. Luckily, around that time also, I had joined a spiritual community. I was working full-time pretty much also on my inner world work. And so when I had to go and do other things and leave my art for a little while and bring up my children, I kept that going, and I really committed to that. And it became possibly the most important thing I've done in my life. And so this week is my birthday week. And it was 5 years ago when I turned 50 and had the opportunity to come back. That was one of the bonuses of COVID. The bonus was I was able to, one, pick up where I left off, but two, realize I'm not that same person. I have a lot of skill now in my inner world, with my inner world, and I have a lot of tools. So when I started to draw again, in came the ghastly talk, you know, and the old world stuff. Will I find my style again, or will I have to have a new one? Or I don't want to go back to what I was doing, constantly trying to pursue something. And I just brought that to the work that I had done, the inner work. And boom, it just went. And I have not had to think from that day forward as a re-emerging artist. I have not had to think about style or technique or anything like that, because it really doesn't matter. For me, it's about communicating what is being expressed from the inside out. And so it's a never-ending source of supply. Actually, it's overwhelming. I now have too much for the time I have, particularly doing this work. So the thing is, now in my mid-50s, and my friends are generally starting to retire, and here I am just in that starting up phase again, realizing that retiring sounds awful. I don't ever need to retire. I love what I do. I think when you're an artist, you're incredibly blessed. I mean, sometimes we have to do what I did. Sometimes we have to go and do the other thing for a little while. I had to be responsible for my kids. It wasn't a time for me I didn't have the focus or the wherewithal that is necessary for a creative career. But what it really interests me at the moment is seeing a lot of galleries and what have you asking for aged entrants. Like, are you between 21 and 35 or things like that? Like, young and great, support young talent, support emerging artists, but of all ages. because it is absolutely true. My story and what I have to share now, and my depth of wisdom and clarity and awareness, can be expressed wordlessly through my work. It's a wonderful contribution to anyone who really feels like looking at it or wanting to be with it. I had someone the other day who bought one of my works at a recent exhibition, and they said they hung it in their bedroom, and it was so filled with the energy of what I do that it kept them awake all night. They did adapt, they got used to it. But work is so much more than what we think it is. And that's the whole issue. Thinking isn't really that beneficial. It's in the execution, it's in your beingness that gets translated into the work. So this is for my older re-emerging, emerging friends. So don't worry, you know, I think the gallery world's standing on its head at the moment. It's a bit upside down, and it needs to be. It was so much better when I was younger, coming out of art school. I feel for the young ones actually coming into this creative world. But we're still driving the ship. There's still so much that we can do. We're the ones with the story. We're the ones with the experience. So don't lose hope. 40, 50, 60, 70, what we can contribute is irreplaceable. And the other thing is we have the wherewithal to ride through these global changes at the moment. The world is going through a restructuring. It's a kind of a reckoning. And the old system is falling apart. It has to. It's just growing pains. It's just getting rid of the old and making way for the new. It's never pleasant. But that is the time when artists come alive. We are not going to be replaced by anything. We never will. And I don't know where or how or what happened when the world started chasing youth, like in the art world. It's actually ridiculous. It's one of the few vocations, one of the few careers where always you got better and more in demand the older you got. So we don't have to worry about that. I think that is a part of the symptom of what's going on and how crazy the art world has become. And then the thing is, as an artist, as a creative, the act of creating is the important part. It's not the exhibition. It's not the sales. It's not, did I fit in here? It's not, am I the right age? Don't ever let anyone dull that inside of you. Don't let any belief that you have take you away from your craft at any age. I'm not saying it's easier as a younger person at all. It's daunting as hell out there. So to wrap up, what I have found is this. The deeper the inner work, the more consistent the inner work, the freer the creativity. Not more controlled, not more trying to fit in, completely free. Because you're not trying to prove something, you're not trying to impress anybody anymore. You're beginning to use creativity in the wisest, most loving possible way, because that's what it is. It's an energy of love. Creativity is just purely love moving. An artist is literally someone who has a giant capacity to hold and be love and to express that. And that is what is true. That is what is true in your inner world, and that is what the outer world most needs, because the outer world already is an expression of that, has come from that, is made from that. So what are the words? Creative, clear, free, and true. And that is this work. Imagine that. Imagine that you get to be inspired by whatever is already moving and bubbling in your inner world. Your story is something from realms, from energies, from sources that are far deeper, broader, wider than everything else. Understanding and knowing the clear space where that energy resides, where that energy pours from, and how to return to it becomes a spiritual creative journey, one that is enriching and soulful and expansive. And everything else just doesn't matter. The age doesn't matter. The level of competition out there no longer matters. Imagine just waking up with the joy of creating and having an inner wellspring of never-ending creative energy, inspiration, ideas. And the only thing stopping that is how quickly you can get that out and how you can hold and protect that clear space. So if you're watching this, everyone, of course, welcome. But today I'm talking to the, let's call it the mature artists. If you feel like you have missed the boat, just start asking, what boat? What have I missed? Window? What window did I miss? Nothing. Let's just say that if you're here watching this, you're being asked to go more inward. You're being asked now to move to your mystical creative journey. If you're saying to yourself and watching your friends retire, and then they're going, I might start taking up a watercolor class. Awesome. Teach them. But if you're like me and retirement sounds horrendous, keep going. If you still have things to make and things to share and things to express, just get ahead and do it. Stop worrying so much about the outcome. Worry about the being and the doing. The rest will take care of itself. And if this sounds tantalizing and delightful, it is. You want to check out my website, kamaleshwari.com. I'll put the link below. And you know, I'd love it. I'd love to ask you a favor. If you would like to see more of this work or hear more from my perspective and experience, I'd love it if you would just please give this a like and a share and a subscribe. That would help so much. Thank you. And if you'd like to be a part of the next run of the Artist Return, you'll find that on my website as well, and hit me with any comments or questions that you may have. Get out there. The world is going through change. It is not made for one age range. It is for all of us. Take control of it. Take control of your free, clear, expressive nature and energy and just let it flow. Yay!